Hello, masters. Today, the one sign that what you are trying to manifest is showing up, it's coming, and this video today, when I'm done explaining this to you, you're going to know that this is not bullshit. You guys, this is all so real. The law of attraction, if you know what you're doing, and like I've said before, if you can really commit to this, you get it to work, guys. Again, I just said this last week, I think it was Thursday. I said, hey, if all you had to do was commit to doing some kind of inner work for 10 years and you would manifest $10 million, would you do it? And the object of asking that question is, like, people, they like instant gratification. They want everything right now. And I'm going, well, it doesn't really work that way. You're going to have to make a master out of yourself and learn this as an art form. And if I told you anything different, would you believe me? Because there's a lot of people on YouTube that are going to tell you that, right? But the fact is, if you do this and you really commit to this, you could manifest 10 million bucks, guys. This isn't hyperbole. People do it. How do they do it? They're patient and they commit to this as a way of life. And I'm going to give you some resources today. This should be a great video, you guys. So let's talk about the signs, and then I'm going to tell you like where you can get started if you really want to commit to this, if you really want to do this, you really want 10 million bucks. If all you had to do was some kind of inner work for 10 years and you'd get $10 million, would you do it? Hell yeah! Hell yeah, man! 10 million bucks, that's a lot of money, and I'll never have to work again. So, here's the sign. Let me say this first. The obvious sign that everybody wants is like out there, and that happens all the time, guys, and it's cool when it does. Like, for example, you could be walking out the door and somebody looks at you and says, hey, man, like some stranger. They go, hey, man, if you believe in something enough, God is going to bring it to you. And you're like, why are you telling me this, right? Because you're right in the middle of trying to manifest something. And then you walk out the door of the grocery store and there's just some guy that looks at you and, I've got a message for you today, One time I found a random note on my car, and it was one of those tear-off calendars. And it said, you're a badass. Instead of accepting less, why don't you just be the badass that you are and live the life of your dreams? And it was right as I was trying to decide if I should quit my job or not, because my business started taking off, right? And some of you might already know who I am. I'm on other platforms. This YouTube channel is new, but I've got over 7,000 spiritual coaching students that I've helped already, you guys, on other platforms. And so I'm just starting this YouTube channel out now. But it did, like, you could get these external signs like that, right? I was really debating, what should I do? Should I quit my job? I don't know. My business was like really taking off, you guys. I was making a ton of money. And here I am trying to figure out if I should keep my job, But I'd never done that before. Everybody thinks that having a job is like security and stuff. So that's the obvious stuff, the external kind of signs that you can get, something somebody says, something just really direct, and that's cool. But here's the real best sign. Intuition. This is pro-level shit, guys, and it's not an emotion. I want to be clear about that. Let me put it to you this way, and I'm going to tell you how you can cultivate intuition. There's a way that you can do it. You can hone it. Okay, so just to be clear, like what it is that we're talking about here, though, first. So the best place to start is, how would I know I was experiencing intuition if I was? How would I know this is intuition? Because again, some people, they might think like they felt an emotional experience, which is the mind, okay? Remember, your body, mind, soul, right? Intuition comes from the soul, not the mind, okay? And when intuition happens to you, you're going to know it because it's not an emotional experience. And emotions aren't fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And actually, emotions, there's a technique that I'm going to tell you about that you can use to, it's part of how you actually get intuition to happen, but it's not what you think it is. Well, let's talk about intuition. So how would I know I was experiencing intuition if I was? Well, have you ever experienced deja vu? Everybody has. Everybody knows what that's like. It's this weird, eerie knowing, like, I know I've done this before, and how do I know that? And here's the thing for you to understand about deja vu and intuition. There's two things going on when that occurs. There's the deja vu, there's the knowing, and there's thinking about it. And you think that you are thinking. You believe yourself to be a mind. And I'll give you some resources on that, because that's kind of the first mistake everybody makes. So everybody thinks they are this personality. And the truth of you is that you're the soul, and that's where the intuition is coming from. So the deja vu, the knowing, that's the real you, dude. That's the spiritual being. The thinking is coming from the ego mind, the personality, the identity entity, the illusion of self that we take on when we come down here into density. And if that sounds confusing to you, just stick with me, because I'll show you where I've already explained that. I've got videos for you to watch. Oh, I'm going to hook you guys up today. This is going to be a great video. It already is. So deja vu, you know what that feels like? It's this weird, eerie knowing, and it's not coming from the mind. It's not thinking, it's not emotion. That's why you're thinking about the knowing. There's the knowing, and then there's the thinking about the knowing, because they're two different things coming from two different places. So now that we kind of got that organized, what's intuition? Well, intuition feels just like deja vu. The only difference is the information is different. So with deja vu, the information that is coming along with the weird knowing is that you've done this before, and that's true. And it's because your higher self exists on a higher plane beyond time. So these are all these incarnations, all these red dots, like past lives, future lives, physical incarnations, and they happen down here in density in linear time. But your higher self is on this higher plane where there is no time. And by the way, that's how time really works. By the way, that's really what a physicist is how they're going to explain it to you, and it explains reincarnation too. By the way, well, anyway, the reason that you can have deja vu is because you have done this before. The question is, who are you? You think you're one of these down here, one of these physical incarnations. This is really you, the higher self in the energy part of the universe, heaven, whatever you want to call that. Now, intuition, the information is different. It's information about the future, something that's true for you, or something about somebody else, maybe, usually. And then there's deja vu, which is really just a different form of intuition. Somebody just decided to give it a special name, and that's fine because everybody's experienced it. Even people that are like atheists have experienced deja vu. So that's what intuition feels like. It has that same character of feel that deja vu has, but the information is different. It's like you just know you're going to win the money, or you're going to get a relationship, or whatever. And by the way, whenever that happens, write it down in a journal and write the date and time that it happened. Because years from now, and I'm going to tell you how to cultivate intuition in a second, years from now, you're going to be able to go back and look at all that stuff, and you're going to start to see a bigger message, like from God, like about your ultimate destiny or whatever. I'm serious, you guys. This shit is real, okay? We're living in a video game simulation, albeit a very realistic one. You can't go play in traffic. I don't recommend doing that, right? There will be consequences, but you can participate in the universe. So here's the resources. There's a link down below to a playlist of mine. It's called The Basics of Manifesting. And there's like one video called Understanding Intuition, and there's another one called How to Cultivate Intuition, where I explain to you like the daily exercises that you can do to get intuition to actually start happening so that you can fucking see the future. Ha! And again, you get intuition, it will happen. Guarantee. Every time I've ever got an intuitive hit, some intuition, it always ends up happening, guys. It's psychic ability. There's also some videos on that playlist talking about how to get started on the law of attraction, how to transcend the mind, the ego mind, and align with the soul, which is really the first thing that you need to do. And again, if that doesn't make sense to you, just go watch the first video on that playlist. It's called How to Get Started or How to Get the Law of Attraction to Work. And I'll explain the whole thing. I'll break it down for you. That's kind of step one. Get started today. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.